the TV30 studio, here's Jim Schneider.
Well, good evening. We welcome you to the program inFocus here on WVCY Channel 30 and VCY.TV. We have a very important topic to discuss this evening, and I would like to give just a little word at the beginning that viewer discretion is advised here this evening. Some of the pictures that we're going to be showing here this evening pertaining to witchcraft, the occult, and like-related issues. You certainly need to be informed what's going on, but we do want to make you aware that if you've got young eyes that are in the room with you, that perhaps you get them off in another activity. Viewer discretion is advised. There was an article that appeared in Atmos in June of 2025. I've got a copy with me here, that witchcraft is on the rise. They report that the number of people identifying as Protestant is dropping dramatically, while the people who say they have no religious affiliation is increasing. They are saying that this is the most secular society that we have experienced in a very long time. Matter of fact, they use the term in centuries. Younger generations are being lured into witchcraft and the occult, primarily through online platforms that is drawing them in. These online platforms have millions of posts. There are tutorials, there is guidance given to them in getting engaged with witchcraft and the occult, and as such, many are falling prey to it. And there are also those retail establishments like Walmart and Target that learned that on their online platforms are selling things like tarot cards, inviting people to purchase these items. So tonight we're going to be talking about this aspect of witchcraft, the occult, and Halloween. And we thank you for joining us here on the broadcast. With us is Dr. David Brown. He is pastor emeritus of the First Baptist Church of Oak Creek, Wisconsin. He does have a master's in theology, a PhD in history, does specialize in the history of the English Bible, but he's also a chaplain, and he has also been a researcher, and for many years researching the occult and witchcraft and fantasy role-playing games and like issues. He is author of The Dark Side of Halloween. And Pastor Brown, good to have you with us tonight.
It's good to be here to warn people about what's going on in this area. I was just at an event on Sunday where there was just bunches of people coming in to see occult displays and buy occult materials, Jim. It's really a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And witches really do exist.
Oh, my.
There are many that they don't want to be known as being a witch.
Right. That's for sure. They would like to sanitize what they do. They would like to sanitize and let everybody, they want to make everybody think, oh, they're just real nice, wholesome people. Mm-hmm. But when you get down to it, there's some perversions beneath the surface, Jim.
Yeah, indeed. And matter of fact, they have a preferred name. Was it Wiccan?
Yes, actually, what we have here is Wicca, or Wiki, if that's feminine. That is the old English word that meant the practice of sorcery, and it's where we get our English word wicked, Jim. In fact, in 890 AD, the word Wiccan was used to identify witches by the laws of King Alfred. So it's an old word that simply means wickedness.
Wow.
A name for witches.
And so you mentioned sorcery, so there is a connection with sorcery.
Oh, definitely a connection with sorcery, magic, necromancy, all those things, Jim.
There are those who are claiming that Wicca is the world's oldest religion.
I think that is very interesting because actually it wasn't established. Modern Wicca wasn't established till about 1950, and it was by a name of a man named Gerald Gardner. And Gardner concocted most of his rituals. He made them up and came out of his imagination, and they were for economic reasons and sexual reasons. In fact, on his house in England, it says the father of modern witchcraft. It's a sign right on where he was. And Gardner was the one who came up with this, and it's documented in occult witchcraft writings, Jim.
Okay, so let's talk about witches just a bit. Is there a connection between them and the devil, Satan? Because there are many who say, "Oh, we don't really believe in the devil," or we don't believe we have any connection to the devil or Satan.
Yeah, that's what they'd like you to believe, but let's go to mythology just for a little bit. Lucifer was, in their beliefs, was the god of the sun and the moon, or the god of light. And yet, it's very interesting, Diana supposedly loved her brother Lucifer, and so he got kicked out of heaven because of his pride, or got kicked out of, I don't know, it says this: Diana greatly loved her brother Lucifer, the god of the sun and moon, the god of light, who was so proud of his beauty, and this is right from an occult source, and for his pride was driven from paradise. Well, that's a perversion of Isaiah chapter 14, 12 through 15, where we could read the whole thing. How art thou fallen, O Lucifer, son of the morning. See the connection there. So there's connection, and he was tossed out of heaven because of that. So they would like to say that there's no connection, but I just looking at mastering witchcraft here, and in mastering witchcraft, you have here an incantation. It says, "I conjure thee, Barabbas, by Satanus." Now guess who Satanus is? It's Satan, and it's right in their stuff. "By the devil, cursed be, I summon thee by Barabbas, by Satanus, the devil conjured be," and that's in their own materials. That's in my little booklet. It tells you right where the witchcraft writing was.
Indeed, the booklet's Unmasking the Truth About Witches. A little bit later, we'll tell you how you can obtain a copy of this. But what you're saying, there is a definite connection between witchcraft, Satanism, and the occult. I mean,
the
it's
occult,
all one of the same.
Yes.
So we're going to take a look at some of the slides that you have, some different things, and you can tell us what we're going to be seeing. We're going to begin with what we have as number 73 here. Josh?
Yeah, Halloween is purely and absolutely evil. And this is a former witch who said this. And he said, "There is nothing we ever have or will do that would make it acceptable to the Lord Jesus Christ." Tom Sanguinet came to know Jesus Christ as personal Savior, and he was very much involved in leading a coven, and he is the one who said, "This is what it is."
Okay, we'll look out at the next one here.
Well, this is Milwaukee Magazine. Witches are real, and there's a wide variety of different kinds of witches. Indeed, there is. There's Gardnerian witches, and there's Alexandrian witches. There's red witches, blue witches, white witches. But I'll tell you what, biblically, that they're all idol worshipers.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm old enough to remember Governor Dukakis.
Oh, yes.
And this is a picture of Lori Cabot, and she was proclaimed the official witch of Salem, Massachusetts by Governor Dukakis. And I want to tell you, I've spoken in Salem, Massachusetts, and this time of year, witches from all over the world still gather in Salem, Massachusetts for their New Year's or their high holy day, Samhain, which we call Halloween.
I think we have another picture of Lori Cabot here.
Oh, there she is. Yep, a little bit older there, and she's a high priestess. She's a high-profile witch, and very popular. She popularized witchcraft in the United States of America. And there's a Wisconsin witch too, Selena Fox. Oh, there she is. And her real name is Mary Sue Bissett, and she owns a 200-acre plus reserve called Circle Sanctuary. It's still operational. They're still doing things. And when Vic Eliason was alive, we flew in his airplane over there, and we saw a lot of the fires that were being burned and stuff around Halloween time. They have big goings on and there she is now. That's what she looks like older today, but she's still there, and witches all around congregate there as well, Jim.
Right.
Witches are real, Jim.
They really are, and again, regular events are taking place on that property.
Yes.
Here in Wisconsin. Yes. Now, you actually debated a couple of witches. We've got a photo of that as well.
Yes. I was on a national talk show back then in the 90s, a Gordon Elliott show, and I was the only believer that was there. They brought me in, and I'm sitting next to two witches that worship Dagon, and next on the other side that you don't see was a witch who was a vampire. She talked about her donors when she was talking about drinking blood, and it was very interesting because I pulled out article from a magazine. It's in my booklet here, saying that a lot of witches are involved in sadomasochistic tendencies, and Gordon Elliott came and snatched it out of my hand. And when the program aired, that was bleeped out. All of a sudden, they had problems.
You're right, technical problems.
Technical problems.
Wow. We've got another photo of somebody you'll recognize.
Yes, he knows better now, but this is Satanist head Anton LaVey, and he's written the Satanic Bible. Satanism is still alive and well, not just in the United States, but in Europe as well. He has died, and he knows better now, Jim.
Yeah, indeed.
In the roll call of the damned, it talks about those who practice sorcery, and he did. And tragically, that's why I want people to trust Jesus Christ and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, Jim.
Yeah, indeed. Doreen Irvine.
Oh, my. Many black witches were lesbians and homosexuals. Sadism was practiced frequently, and she said this, quote, "I practice more wickedness in a single week than many would in an entire lifetime." She's written several books on it. She came to know Jesus Christ as well, thankfully. I don't think she's alive anymore, but I have several of those books in the library, and she warns people about them. And in my little booklet, I have here the Green Egg publication, and Sex, Spirit, and Sadomasochism, and a whole article in a Witchcraft magazine, Jim. So when they try and talk about being innocent and being family-oriented, I don't think so for a lot of them.
Right, so sexual deviancy is really big in all of this.
Yes.
There was even something about a special witch camp.
Oh yes. This was right here in Wisconsin, Wyalusing State Park, and they said, and I'm quoting now, "Our purpose is organizing this event is to gather with like-minded queer men and to explore our unique perspectives and experience as faggot witches." Now, that's their quote, Jim.
That's their quote.
That was what they advertised.
Faggot,
they call themselves faggots.
And I understand the state park still sometimes has events that they are participating in there.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. Also, you've got another slide here on witchcraft and perversion.
Well, that's the article I was talking about. The Green Egg publication, still published, and Sex, Spirit, and Sadomasochism, and it goes on and talks about the fivefold kiss, talking about the whipping on. I just don't want to talk about it. It's sadomasochistic, Jim, and but they endorse that. That's a part of some witch covens, and not all, but I just. They're so perverse, Jim. They're so perverse.
Yeah. Witch's Book of Curses. This is something else that's out there?
Yes. Sybil Leek wrote the Book of Curses, and she makes it very, very clear. And when they say they only do good magic, well, right here she talks about, "I call Christianity the one great curse." And so you have it right there. It's full of things where they want to condemn, they want bad things to happen to people. So when they say they only do good magic. Sybil Leek was a high-profile witch known for many years, and her writings are still selling online.
Yeah. Well, according to that article I was quoting from earlier, June of 2025, it talks about the younger age and this generation, and that is being appealed to through social media and various platforms. And there's even been emphasis for teen witches as well, which we have another slide on that.
Yes, there's all kinds of books for teen witches, but not just books anymore, Jim. They got reels that are on the internet, but witchcraft is a very, very popular with teenage girls. And with the advent of Harry Potter and the books and the movies, it's becoming the rage. And in fact, J.K. Rowling right there said herself about 1/3 of what is written is based on actual occultism. That's a quote by her. It's documented right there on the slide.
Yeah, indeed. And so there have been many who have been influenced through the Harry Potter series and even present day. I mean, it doesn't take long. You can find Harry Potter movies that are out there as well.
All over the place.
Yeah, streaming constantly.
Yes.
Another slide here about the tools of divination.
Well, this is, you have the Ouija board, but there's a divination board above it there. We got the lady blacked out. She had too low there, but tarot cards all over there. Tarot cards are sold in a number of the regular stores. I believe that I've seen tarot cards in a number of stores around
I went online here just in the last day or so, Walmart.com, Target.com, selling tarot cards.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're readily available there. And so we saw the Ouija board on that slide as well.
Yes.
And millions and millions of this, and it's not a game. The people call it a Ouija board game, but they have that persona, but there's danger.
Well, actually, there's great danger in that, and demons, they call demons, and demons, the Ouija board actually can be demon-possessed as they do it. If you have a Ouija board or divination board or tarot cards, best thing you can do with those is burn them, chop them up, and get rid of them. Get them out of your house.
Wow.
Because I've talked with people, I've counseled with people who got advice from these divination things and work their life according to it and get themselves in all kinds of trouble.
Well, it goes on many different realms, one of which is even into the political realm.
Yes.
And we've got a slide here, too, of Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yes. Hillary Clinton, through her psychic, there's her psychic right there. She contacted Eleanor Roosevelt. It wasn't Eleanor Roosevelt, it was a demon, but Hillary was quite involved in the occult and actually some voodoo stuff in Haiti as well, Jim. I was a missionary to Haiti, and I learned about voodoo as I traveled through the island preaching. Voodoo is another form of witchcraft, just like Polybiombe and Santeria and all those things, Jim.
Okay. Have another picture of a person that we'll recognize. His name is Aleister Crowley, and
boy, they called him the Beast, and he was into serious perversion, led many people astray, and there's still a number of people who are following the teachings of Aleister Crowley and his belief in his teaching what's called Thelma, and that's not a woman's name, but that's his doctrines that Crowley would teach, Jim. He was an evil man.
Wow. Well, many witches will claim that they only do good magic or healing magic. How do you respond to that?
Well, I would say that when you look at all the books that are there that talk about how to do curse spells and spells of vengeance, even when you walk in to buy occult things, you can buy talismans that curse people, and it's not true. They don't do just good spells. They're Wiccan read, harm none and do as thou wilt, and yet so many of the witchcraft titles that are there talk about the evil and the spells that they do of people they don't like.
White magic, black magic?
Yeah, it's all evil.
Okay.
It's all demonic. There isn't, they can call it whatever you want, but I'm thinking about some of the crazy stuff that a lot of witches have magic wands, and they make that magic wand come alive with their own blood, dropping it into the magic wand, and we certainly have that documented in our booklet that deals with that as well.
Yeah. I'm looking at a press release that came out, or actually this is a story earlier from our friend Alex Newman.
Oh, yeah.
And Alex, here's the headline. It says, Florida school caught promoting witchcraft. Now, friends, this is the 2025-2026 school year, and it takes us down to Orange County, Florida. That's where the setting is. Government school officials in Orange County, Florida were subjecting captive students to lessons teaching sorcery and witchcraft. Dubbed Witchy Wednesday, the video series shown school-wide over the school's TV system included lessons on casting spells, using magic, worshiping the moon, and other occult rituals. The lessons also taught students to burn incense and fold papers to burn based on the moon cycle. The video shown on September 10th featured a student offering instructions on how to perform the rituals. You write your intuition down on your paper, fold it 3 times, burn your paper into your white candle, burn it completely and entirely to have your intention released into the universe. The student reportedly said in the video, shown to all the students during the morning announcements, that itself is your light of insight at work. There's a full moon coming up on September 18th where the energy is at its highest peak, the video added, before urging students to enjoy a wicked Wednesday. Well, we saw families objected. Matt Staver from Liberty Counsel sent a letter to the school district, and they have stopped their witchy Wednesdays here at this point. But this is invasion to the school system,
yes,
and we keep hearing separation of church and state.
Yeah, separation of church and state, but it's being promoted. Pagan religions are being promoted in the school as well under mindfulness. We're not doing a program on mindfulness, but basically that's Buddhism that's coming in and into the school under mindfulness. And then you have some teachers who are witnesses. I think of what happened in Ohio. A teacher, he was the high priest, and he got 15-year-old girls from the school involved. He ends up in jail because he had immoral relationships with them, and it was discovered, and so he ended up going to jail. But you have all kinds of unbiblical, anti-Christian things that are being promoted in schools today, and everybody thinks it's fine. It's not fine at all.
Right.
It's brainwashing of the highest degree. I'm just going to tell a personal thing for me. I just think parents, you need to start homeschooling your kids. I don't know, get them into a good Christian school or something.
Yeah. Well, again, so this happened in this school district. You wonder where else is this happening going on?
Yes.
And many times kids in the public school system, they have their Halloween programs and so forth.
Oh, that's their biggest holiday.
But don't dare mention Christmas.
No, or Easter, no.
Right, yeah, so that's an offense. And again, while many will claim that they are family-oriented and wholesome, yet, as you just pointed out through your illustration there too, deviant sex is part of this, sadomasochism, thank you, often affiliated with witchcraft as well, and it is horrible. But there's another thing that's blood offerings, and we're going to show you some additional photos here, friends, but again, I just want to say viewer discretion is advised. Some of these photos, again, we bring them to you as to your attention, that you are understanding of the times in which we live and what is taking place. And we're going to talk about even some of these blood offerings going on. And first of all, we have an altar, and if you could tell us about this.
Yes, you can see the occult altar there. It's got incense on there. It's got the moon. It's got skulls on there. It's got various candles, and usually the candles have writing to tell you what they are, and then it has the knife down there, and illustration of one of the activities that they do is called the Great Rite. They would take that knife and put it into the cup, and that's symbolic of the knife, the male, and the cup, the female. And in many witch covens, the head male witch initiates the new female initiant by perverted sex. Yes.
Wow. There's also even animal crucifixions taking place here too.
Yes. Yeah, that's, I investigated a lot of that, and that's a poor cat. And if you have cats, and particularly if they're dark cats around Halloween, keep them inside, Jim, because I've had to look into numerous of these when I was doing that for 20 years.
Yeah, and let's just mention that because, I mean, you're just not some stranger doing some research. You actually worked with police departments, and they consulted with you about some of these findings that they had.
Yes, in fact, the last major thing that I did was train policemen in Madison, Wisconsin, in some of the areas of the occult, Jim. That was one of the last big things I did. I was an invited speaker to train them on that.
There's also a couple photos here from a haunted house.
Oh, yes. I scribbled that out because it's gross, but so she's cut off at the waist, her neck's cut, slit, and that's haunted house. I was on the rescue squad in the fire department. There's an article written up how I rescued a man out of a wreck. Unfortunately, he didn't live. He lost so much blood, but the young lady beheaded there. Haunted houses are, death isn't funny to me, Jim. I've had to deal with it really, even as a pastor, and to frighten people and have haunted houses with body parts and all these things, Jim. Even in the dark side of Halloween, there's a psychiatrist who talks about the damage in children that can happen by being not realizing what's going on in the haunted houses and getting scared so bad, Jim.
Yeah, indeed. You also, there was found an occult altar on Lake Michigan.
Yes, there it is. That's a surveyor's pole, but what they did, that's the phallic symbol, and then they put the stones around it, and guess what? I was called to investigate that on Halloween around Halloween to see if it was occultic, and it was. They put that around there. They put the circle around there on purpose, and that's there was around there. They'd had a fire and they'd done some dancing there, so that was an occultic site.
Yeah. I saw an article. Here's another article here, and this came from Pew Research. 30% of Americans consult astrology, tarot cards, or fortune tellers. Here we have another photo coming up of a palm reader as well.
Yeah, palm reader there, and supposedly reading the palm and giving the lady her future there. So
but isn't that alarming that 3 out of 10 people are consulting?
I think that's even a little bit low now. There seems to be so many people who are turning to, well, they read the horoscopes and believe them, or they call the psychic hotlines. They're advertising that again, the California psychics and all this kind of stuff. And tragically, there's even some Christians who are not discerning who are doing those things. Jim?
My. You've got another disturbing slide too, again, and in which they call this a sex holiday. This was a letter that was written.
Yes, I was called in that this was found, and here's what it says. This is the person who wrote it. Father Satan, I sacrificed this young rabbit Sonia, so it had to be his pet rabbit, to you and your royally unholy fellow demons. I ask you to give me safe passage on my vacation of sin and sex in Bangkok, Thailand, which is noted for pedophilia and all kinds of perverted sex. I serve you always, great Lord Satan, and he called himself Nirma torch, Nirma torch.
Wow, wow. And so there was a sacrifice as well that went along with this.
Yes, the rabbit. That's the remains there. I took the pictures.
Okay, and then also let's show a skull candle as well.
Yep, well, you know, the supposed harmless face of a jack-o'-lantern is the ancient symbol of a damned soul. We'll get into the Halloween thing, but candlelit skulls marked farms where offerings to the pagan gods were acceptable in Celtic times, and so the skull, you'll see that on altars. You'll see that in so it's a symbol of death. It's a symbol of appeasing demons.
Right, right. Friends, you're watching inFocus tonight on Channel 30, and it's critically important that we be understanding of the times and to warn about these issues that are out there in society today. And there have been many, sadly, child abductions and other abductions that have taken place. Witchcraft, the occult, is running rampant through our society today. And so our program here on inFocus is really coming to you as a warning. And there is this glorification that is taking place, and we're going to be seeing some of that here as well. But retailers are finding, hey, this is a way to cash in on this. We've got some photos here. This one is of a witch. This is at a Walgreens.
Yes, that's my Oak Creek Walgreens where I went to pick up my wife's prescription.
And then on a visit to Sam's Club, here is a skeletal structure that is looming high, way up into the air on a top shelf there at Sam's Club. And,
yeah, it's probably 10 feet high, Jim.
And you see R.I.P. for rest in peace, and on this grave tomb with skulls there and a ghost there on the left. And then let's look at another photo here. This is also from within Sam's Club. Now, this was a close-up. If you zoom back, it's actually a jack-o'-lantern. It's the inside of a pumpkin. And so that's what that looks like, an ancient symbol of a damned soul.
Yeah, the apparently harmless lighted pumpkin case of jack-o'-lantern is an ancient symbol of a damned soul, the encyclopedia says.
So that was Sam's Club, and let's go to Walmart. And here's a...
Oh, yeah, I took a picture of that in Walmart when I went in to buy something for my computer.
Yeah. So, I mean, retailers are getting into all of this as well, the occult,
yes.
Witchcraft, really, the connection to Satanism as well, and that kind of will cause us to transition into this matter of Halloween.
Well, and it makes it acceptable, and they're making lots of money on it, so yeah, they don't use discernment.
Yeah, so let's talk about Halloween.
Okay.
It's got a pretty sordid history, doesn't it?
Well, it really does. Let's start with the Pilgrim forefathers. They banned Halloween in America until 1845 and 46, the Irish potato famine, and many of the Irish came to the United States of America, and they brought the pagan holiday of Halloween with them. The American celebration of Halloween rests upon Scottish and Irish customs from pre-Christian times and Druid times, and it was a pretty gruesome holiday. They would build wicker works and put in captives and people and animals, and they would burn them. Julius Caesar wrote, all Gaelic nations are much given to superstition. They either offer up men as victims to their gods or make a vow to sacrifice themselves. And so they do this on the fixed holidays, Jim. So it came to the United States of America, 1845 and 46, and with the Irish potato famine and the Irish immigrants who came in, and it's grown and grown and grown, and it's been exported now to many other places as well.
Yeah, here's a picture. If we can zoom in on the picture right here, this is what you were talking about.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about. But it's not only that. Many of Halloween's customs, Jim, are derived from ancient Baal festivals. And that isn't some Christian book I'm talking about. It says, it's from the American Book of Days by George William Douglas. It says, other customs originate from the taking of omens from the struggles of victims in the fires of Druidic sacrifices, Jim.
So we're going to look at some additional pictures here as well. This is from a presentation Pastor Brown has done on the dark side of Halloween, and it really goes back to the Tower of Babel.
Yes, it does.
Let's go to that photo if we can here. Slide number 36, and we'll get to that.
Yes, yes, there we go. The Tower of Babel was built for astrological worship. That's what the picture looks like in a lot of the books, but in my book, we have, you can still see from satellite, you can see the basis of the Tower of Babel, and that's where so much of the occult worship comes from, is Babylon. Babylon originates a lot of that stuff.
You call it the mother of occult idolatry.
Yes, the mother of occult idolatry. And the priests of Nimrod or Baal, they were required to eat of the human sacrifices, and that's where we get our word cannibal or cannibale. The mother of occult idolatry there, because here's where witches get their power: divination or fortune telling, sorcery and magic, or spiritism and necromancy. I give the old word and then the new word, fortune telling. So they will tell the fortune, and they use the Ouija board. They read tea leaves. They read your palm. We saw some of that already. And then sorcery and in magic, they'll cast spells. They'll have talismans that you can wear or give to people, or candles that they burn. And then trying to contact the dead, spiritism or necromancy. Boy, that lost King Saul his nation when he consulted the Witch of Endor. So the Bible is very clear on those things. Deuteronomy chapter 18, 9 through 12, here's what it says. And it says this: "Thou shalt not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire," human sacrifice, "or uses divination, or observer of the times, an enchanter, a witch, a charmer, a consulter with familiar spirits, a wizard or a necromancer. All that do such things are an abomination to the Lord." And that carries over in the New Testament as well, Jim. I'm thinking of the church in Acts chapter 19, verse 19 and 20, when the Word of God came and was preached and many of them got saved. It says in Acts chapter 19, verse 19 and 20, "And many that used the curious arts brought their books together, and they burned them before all men, and they counted the price thereof of 50,000 pieces of silver." That's someplace between 30,000 to 15 million, depending on how large the piece of silver was.
Wow.
And then it says very clearly, "So mightily grew the word of the Lord and prevailed," Jim.
Let's also look at this verse that you had from Ezekiel 21, verse 21.
Oh yeah, this is talking about the king of Babylon when he's trying to decide which way to go. And again, Babylon is the source of so much of this occult things. It says, "And the king of Babylon stood at the parting of the ways, and at the head of two ways, and used divination." Here's what he did. He made his arrows bright. He shook them in his quiver and threw them out, kind of like pickup sticks. And then he consulted with images, and then he looked into a liver. He sacrificed some kind of an animal, and then looked into the liver, how the liver was quivering. Yes.
Okay, let's go on to the next slide here.
Yes, and that's what
we
just quoted there. See it for yourself, right from the King James Version of the Bible.
Okay. Ancient Baal festivals as well.
Oh my, yes. Many of Halloween's customs they derive from the Baal festivals, and here the Bible talks about it. It talks about it in Jeremiah, how that they offered their children. There's a fire in his lap. They put their children in the arms of Baal or Molech, and they burned them to death, and that's passing through the fire. Yes.
Okay, now speaking of fires, There's something called bone fires or bonfires?
Bonfires, the bonfires. They're still very popular amongst occultists today. Anytime, whichever organization there is, they're likely to have a bonfire this year. And it originated from Druid sacrifices, and when they burned human beings, what was left was ashes and bones, and that's bonfire was shortened to bonfire.
Interesting. Stonehenge.
I've been to Stonehenge 3 or 4 times, and this is actually Druids that were assembled at Stonehenge, and I believe it was at Beltane there. But the thing about Stonehenge, within several miles of Stonehenge, there's 350 funeral mounds that have the bones of Druid sacrifices there buried. You'll see these mounds, and when they excavated the mounds, guess what they found? They found bones.
My. And then let's also talk about the silver raven wolf.
Oh, yeah.
This is spells, Halloween spells.
Yes, Halloween spells. And again, this was aimed at young people particularly, and she tells them how to cast spells and how to get what they want. Instead of praying and asking wisdom of the Lord, you cast the spells, and then the nature spirits, the earth spirits, air spirits, fire spirits, or water spirits, trolls. Trolls are earth spirits. They somehow could answer what your spell is.
One more picture here of the jack-o'-lantern. This is what you referred to earlier.
Oh, yes. Yep. The apparently harmless lighted pumpkin face of jack-o'-lantern is an ancient symbol of a damned soul. And that's right from an encyclopedia. I got that. Jim, I want everybody to know that's not something I pulled out of my hat. That was the World Book Encyclopedia, the 1977 edition.
Wow. Friends, also at the same time, if you just look around the yards through Halloween time, and it starts quite early in a number of yards, we just went around and grabbed a few pictures and some of these things. Here you can see this hanging from a tree, skeletons, and there's one in a cage there. Let's go on to the next one. Here, I'll be back, and you can see a hand coming up out of the grave here, perhaps the Grim Reaper off on the left.
Yeah.
Here you can see more, a graveyard in somebody's yard.
Skeleton coming up right out of, coming back. And really in Halloween, that's why they dressed up, because the people who died the year before, they could come back to the houses and haunt the houses, cause problems, and so they would dress up in Halloween costumes to try and fool the spirits who came back to cause problems at the houses. They had to be stupid spirits.
Some of these from the greater Milwaukee area. Here's another one.
Heads on pikes.
Yeah, severed heads, and we see what has happened even through the atrocity by Hamas against Israel and severed heads and so forth. And here we're glamorizing it in people's yards.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Sad.
So a number of photos here showing, here's another one, and you can see the Lost Souls sign there, and Lost Souls Cemetery, and one coming out of the ground, and certainly very troubling. Yeah.
Well, the devil's real. Witches are real. Jesus Christ is real. Heaven is real, and hell is real. And you have a choice. There is no chance in eternity to change your destiny. And if you follow the way of the world, there's wisdom from above, James says, and wisdom from beneath. There's a devil's wisdom and God's wisdom. I would urge people to get into the Word of God and remember that Jesus loves you and He died on the cross of Calvary for you, and sever all connection with the occult. Anton LaVey said he's so thankful for parents who give the devil his due on one day a year. He was speaking of Halloween, and he was an evil, evil man.
Many parents introduce their children into the occult at this time of year.
Yes.
And certainly tonight's program comes as a warning. Let me just mention a couple of things. We're going to tell you about a couple of offers through Pastor David Brown, and then also we'll open our phone lines for a short time here this evening. So be ready to call us right away with your questions or brief comments. First of all, Unmasking the Truth About Riches, a booklet that Pastor David Brown has put together for the cost of printing and postage, basically, that's coming to you. You can make note of the address. This is available for $5. A small booklet. It is
20 pages, I think.
Yeah, it's just about 24 pages, 23 pages, and that's available. Unmasking the Truth About Witches. $5. You just make a check payable to David Brown, and write to P.O. Box 173, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 53154, really to learn more information about this. He also has put out a book called The Dark Side of Halloween, very extensive, well over 100 pages. And this Dark Side of Halloween, and then two of the pamphlets, the tracts on the Dark Side of Halloween that explains about the history of Halloween, the heroes of Halloween, the harm of Halloween. That book and two of these pamphlets available for $15. Again, David Brown, P.O. Box 173, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 53154. If you just want the pamphlets, he has a pack of 5 that are available for $2, 25 for $8, 100 for $20. Again, just ask for these materials as you write P.O. Box 173, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 53154. I feel like we've just scratched the surface on so much of this here.
Yes, we have, but it's a good warning, Jim.
Yeah.
It's real. The occult is real, and Halloween is a time where they're recruiting and trying to introduce people to the genuine occult.
So, friends, tonight our time is short, but we'd like to give you opportunity if you have a question you would like to ask pertaining to witchcraft, the occult, Halloween. Pick up your phone, give us a call, 414-935-3030, 414-935-3030, or 800-733-8830, 1-800-733-8830. Again, time is short, so just get online with us right away. Perhaps you learned something through the broadcast here tonight. Maybe you've been a participant in Halloween for a long time and have learned things about Halloween and the occult here this evening that wants you to turn your back on it. Yes. We also have a text line this evening. If you'd like to text in your question or comment, you can send a text to 414-459-9638, 414-459-9638, and you can send in your text, and we'd like to hear from you tonight here on inFocus. Pastor Brown, I know you at one time followed Halloween and participated.
Yes, as a youth director, we take them on nightmare walks and do a lot of those things, and it wasn't until 1981 when I came to First Baptist in Oak Creek in 1979, December of 79. But I read an article, Jim, by on a Moody Monthly article by Joy Sterling, and she said we should unmask Halloween, and she told, being a missionary, she told of the occult connection that there was in Halloween, and I started researching it for myself, and I said, if she is true, I have to quit celebrating Halloween. And so when I got the facts and found out what she said was exactly true, I told our church, personally, I'm not celebrating Halloween, we're not doing it at church, and we'd encourage you not to celebrate Halloween either.
Right. Again, friends, you have an opportunity to call in to ask some questions right now, 414-935-3030 or 800-733-8830, or send a text, just your first name, city, to our text line, which is 414-459-9638. Here for inFocus tonight with a warning about witchcraft, the occult, and Halloween itself. When we take a look at, you mentioned the costumes and the need to put those on.
Yes.
But there is also just even those words that people seem to think are so innocent, trick or treat.
Yeah, well, trick or treat was actually, people went around begging for offerings for their pagan gods and goddesses, and when they didn't get it, they would oftentimes do damage to the farmers' animals or something like that, and so trick or treat was offerings for the pagan gods, and so they did some real bad things. They tricked them or hurt them when they didn't give those offerings. So today, when you're doing trick or treat, you're reenacting offerings to pagan gods.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of haunted houses going on right now as well, throughout society as well, and their origin doesn't have a very pleasant beginning either.
Well, Vlad the Impaler, Vlad the Impaler in Transylvania, he invited all of the lame and the halt and the sickly people to a banquet, and he said, "Do you want to be free of all your pain and all your ills?" Naturally, they said yes. And so as he fed them, they boarded up the hall where they were at, set it on fire, and burned them all alive, Jim. So.
Pastor Brown, there's a text that came in from Shelley in Duluth that is related in some degree to this, but you can say,
Sure.
It says you briefly mentioned pagan religions. Can you talk about the root of yoga at all?
Well, yes, yoga happens to have an occult root, because when you're doing the yoga positions, there's a different kinds of yoga, and I believe that the root of that is Hinduism, and you even learn some of the Hindu and the pagan words. And it's connected right to the occult.
Meditation, etc.
And they ask you to do the meditation. They ask you to say the words and those type of things. So, yeah, yoga. It's hard to. You can't really separate the yoga from the religion. Yeah. From the occult religion.
Of Joshua chapter 1 verse 8 that says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, thou shalt meditate therein day and night." It's God's word we need to meditate.
And what biblical meditation is you take apart the word of God in your mind and kind of squeeze out all the good. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. What does that mean? God blesses and so on. But pagan meditation, on the other hand, you're trying to clear your mind. You're trying to empty your mind. But I warn you, it's the old saying, the idle mind is the devil's workshop, Jim, and there's a lot of truth in that.
And there is a vast difference between God's wisdom and the wisdom of this world.
Yeah, the wisdom of this world, James says, is earthly, and that means it leaves God out. It's sensual, sexual and perverse, and devilish, James says. That's demonic.
Okay.
That's the wisdom of this world.
Here's another text that came in. It says, why do churches recognize this day by offering substitutes for their children on Halloween? Like giving children candy from having parties at the church. Some churches will do a trunk or treat or something of that nature.
Sure. I don't know whether they realize it or not, but October 31st is a very important day. Martin Luther nailed his 95 Thesis to the Wittenberg Castle door, and that started the Protestant Reformation, where the Bible was reintroduced to culture. So while I'm not Lutheran or anything, I rejoice that the Bible was introduced into the culture. Luther in Germany, William Tyndale in England. And so I believe in substitution, but completely removing from Halloween and trick-or-treat and giving candy. We have done paintball games. We have done, just some fun things with our kids. We would take them to a basketball game. I believe, be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. But I want to separate it way away from Halloween.
Right. So you're not opposed to a family having a fun night together.
Oh, we have a fun night. That's what we did.
Or a church holding an activity that is totally void of Halloween.
We did that and had a number of good Christian videos, Jim. That was a great time to do that.
Some more questions that are coming in here. This is Alma in Milwaukee. What is the meaning of pumpkins at the entrance of houses? These ones that don't have faces, but I wonder why people do it. Now, sometimes that's a fall decoration, isn't it? But
what I do at my house, get pumpkins and gourds, and I love what is called Indian corn. That's different color corn, and that is celebrating of the harvest, Jim. We don't do jack-o'-lanterns or any of that sort of stuff, but there's nothing wrong with pumpkins and gourds to decorate and thank the Lord for the harvest. Have a cornucopia perhaps out there with different things.
But when you start carving a face, that takes on a new meaning.
That takes on a new meaning. It's an ancient symbol of a damned soul.
Okay, another question coming in from Margaret in Watertown. Should a Christian attend a Halloween party?
I would say no. I would say Ephesians 5:11, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. And you for years, here and on Crosstalk, you have reproved the work of darkness. So my answer is no. Have no fellowship with it. The Bible also says, prove all things and hold fast to that which is good, Jim. The Bible doesn't want you to have anything to do with occult things, the works of the flesh, idolatry, witchcraft. You can look at that. It talks about Elamus, the sorcerer, being full of subtlety and mischief, a child of the devil. So no, don't be involved.
Friends, let me put up this offer again for you, some of the different resources, because we don't have time for any more calls or texts. But Unmasking the Truth About Witches, again, this is a resource, 20-some pages that will really give you more information on this. For $5 covers the printing and the postage to you. $5, just make a check payable to David Brown, P.O. Box 173, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 53154. There is also then on the Dark Side of Halloween. Again, it's a multiple page book on this issue, and two of the Halloween pamphlets, The Dark Side of Halloween, for $15. It really is a bargain to get this. Really goes in depth on this issue. Again, the same address, or if you just want the little brochures to hand out or to pass them around people in your church, whatever, 5 copies for $2, 25 copies for $8, 100 copies for $20. David Brown, P.O. Box 173, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 53154. If you miss that, just call the VCY offices. We'll give that to you. Pastor, thank you for coming here tonight.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Jim, and you've covered this and warned people for many years. I'm grateful for that, and I would urge people to have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness.
Great. Thank you for being with us. And friends, tonight, a warning, but important information for all of us. God bless you. Thanks for watching inFocus.